Pep Guardiola's Manchester City are running away with it at the top, 15 points clear at the Premier League summit with only 13 games to go. History shows that when the number of games left and the number of points clear are more or less the same, it's basically time to start popping the champagne. So if the unthinkable happened and City somehow managed to lose the Premier League title from here, it'd rank amongst the worst bottlings of all time. But as well as letting a huge lead slip, there are a lot of other painful ways you can lose a title. Like these. Copper 90's 7 most dramatic title collapses. Let's kick things off with the Big Daddy. This is the one that springs to mind as soon as you say title collapse, and there's a very good reason for that. Just like City, Newcastle had a 12-point lead in January, but still conspired to finish 4 points behind eventual winners Manchester United. Under the attack-minded philosophy of Kevin Keegan, the Magpies gained a reputation as being the most entertaining team around, but a run of 5 defeats in 8 matches ultimately meant they'd miss out on the title. With Les Ferdinand, Peter Beardsley, David Ginola and Rob Lee, this was some team, and theirs was probably the most aesthetically pleasing collapse ever. Keegan was the ultimate, practically Shakespearean, tragic hero, completely losing his rag during the notorious "I will love it" rant. This one really did have the lot. Liverpool 2013-14. This one has all the same stars aligning in the completely wrong way feel as Newcastle's, but updated for the Vine generation. This felt like Liverpool's time. 24 years after their last title, they could practically reach out and touch their first ever Premier League trophy. With a lethal front three of Luis Suarez, Danny Sturridge and Raheem Sterling, it seemed like nothing could stop them. But we all know what happened next. One Steven Gerrard slip and 90 minutes of technical genius, or classical Mourinho shithousery, depending on which way you look at it, and Man City were favourites for the league. Then came Istanbul in their next league game, leading 3-0 with 78 minutes on the clock. In the penultimate game of the season, Crystal Palace scored 3 times in 10 minutes to put the final nail in Liverpool's coffin. Tears from Suarez and Gerrard on the pitch, tears in the away end, tears all over Merseyside. Real Madrid 2003-2004. With the Galactico era in full swing, David Beckham decked out in all white and 8 points clear after 26 matches, everything seemed rosy at the Bernabeu. But an extra time defeat against Real Zaragoza in the Copa del Rey final prompted a truly disastrous run of form towards the back end of the season. A team jam-packed with iconic superstars were beaten in their last 5 league games of the season and lost out on the title to Rafa Benitez's Valencia side. Many made a lot of the downturn in Beckham's form, coinciding with Real Madrid's season going down the pan, as they went trophyless for the first time since '99, finished 4th and sacked manager Carlos Queiroz. Still, they haven't done too badly since, have they? Arsenal 2007-8. Despite selling Thierry Henry in pre-season, Arsenal started the 2007-2008 season superbly, with Bakary Sagna recruited at the back and Eduardo da Silva linking up brilliantly with Emmanuel Adebayor up top. It looked like Arsenal could well win the Premier League for the first time since 2003-2004. 5 points clear with 12 games to go, the Gunners travelled to St Andrews where everything simply went south. A horrible injury to Eduardo after a challenge by Martin Taylor set the tone and visibly distressed the Arsenal players and staff, but they still managed to take a 2-1 lead into the game's dying embers. Then a moment of madness saw Gael Clichy give away a last-minute penalty which saw them draw the game. William Gallas threw a tantrum on the pitch and Arsenal went on to draw their next 4 games, a run they would never recover from and led to them finishing the season in 3rd place. Celtic 04-05. Or Helicopter Sunday. When Celtic beat their arch-rivals at Ibrox to open up a 5-point lead in late April, but with only 4 games remaining, you'd have been forgiven for thinking that the title was heading to Celtic Park. Rangers fans had pretty much given up the ghost, but their defender Marvin Andrews, who had been ruled out for the season with a cruciate ligament injury, developed the mantra "Keep Believing." He returned to the pitch after just 1 game out and ended the season with an SPL winners medal. Rangers needed to better Celtic's result at Motherwell, managed by former Rangers captain Terry Butcher. But with the Gers 1-0 up at Hibs, Celtic took the lead and a helicopter carrying the trophy was heading to Fir Park. Enter Scott McDonald, who scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to win the game for Motherwell. Both in the immortal line of commentary, the helicopter is changing direction. Manchester United 2011-2012. So Alex Ferguson's Manchester United, 8 points clear in March. Yeah, might as well tune out for the rest of the season. Winning's in their DNA, we've seen this one before. Well, actually, not as it turned out. A loss at relegation third in Wigan, a dramatic 4-4 draw at home to Everton, and then a defeat at Manchester City let their rivals back into it and saw their destiny out of their hands going into the last day. With City at home to lowly QPR on the final day, everything seemed set for Roberto Mancini's side to stroll to their first ever Premier League title. An early Wayne Rooney goal set United on course for victory at Sunderland, but all the drama was on furling back in Manchester. Despite going a goal down and having Joey Bowden sent off, a remarkable effort from QPR, themselves potentially needing a result just to stay up, saw them leading 2-1 going into the final minutes of a game City needed to win. With United fans celebrating, Edin Dzeko scored in extra time. And then of course, Sergio Aguero scored in the 94th minute, giving City the goal they needed to snatch the title away from their most hated rivals on goal difference. In terms of pure, very last kick of the season drama, this one has and may never been beaten. Bayer Leverkusen 2001-2002. If you think losing a title is heartbreaking, try being on the cusp of a treble and ending up with absolutely nothing. With Michael Ballack, Zé Roberto, Yildiray Basturk, Lucio, Oliver Neuville and a young Dimitar Berbatov, this Bayer team really were a quality outfit and found themselves in the German Cup final, the Champions League final, and on the brink of winning the league. But captain Jens Nowotny suffered a season-ending injury in the Champions League semis against Manchester United. And despite having a 5-point lead with only 3 Bundesliga games to play, Leverkusen contrived to throw it all away. 2 defeats in a row against Werder Bremen and Nuremberg meant it was Borussia Dortmund who went into the final day with their fate in their own hands. Their 4-3 win at Hamburg meant Bayer's final day win was in vain, as they missed out on their first ever Bundesliga title. A week later they lost the cup final to Schalke, then they were denied in the Champions League final by the brilliance of Zinedine Zidane, and Bayer cruelly ended the season empty-handed. Those were Copenhagen's most dramatic title collapses. But have we missed out on one? Has your team or your rivals ever thrown away or snatched the league title at the last minute? Let us know in the comment section, like the video, and of course subscribe to Copenhagen.